The presenting sponsor for OnEducation is Classcraft. You won't believe what Classcraft has in store for you at ISTE 2019. Stop by the Classcraft booth and complete the new AR experience to be entered in a drawing for a Nintendo Switch. Do you want twice the chance to win? Simply put us, OnEducation, as your referring friend on the form. To learn more about Classcraft, visit classcraft.com/OnEducation.
All right, we are here with our BFFs, Shawn and Devin Young from Classcraft. Welcome, boys.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for having us.
So this is great. We are at ISTE, and you guys have a lot of stuff going on down there on the floor. Tell us about what's happening this week at ISTE for you guys.
We have a lot of stuff. We got a bigger booth than we've ever gotten, so that was kind of a stepping stone for us. And we started doing some programming at the booth because we had more space. So we have PD sessions happening in the mornings with our learning team. So that's really exciting because we kind of share kind of more in-depth things that Classcraft can be used for around classroom management, but also like SEL, PBIS. Dealing with different types of situations, so like maybe bullying or using Classcraft in high school or middle school. So
nice.
It allows us to go into more depth, which I think the learning team was really craving, was just like an outlet for that.
Yeah.
And then a couple other things that we wanted to focus on were we just released story mode today, so that's kind of like a big milestone for us. The illustration team has been working on that for about a year.
Wow.
We created a storytelling department at Classcraft, and our oldest employee, Stephanie Carmichael, actually is now running that, and that's a big step for us.
Amazing.
And really excited to see her sort of go into that role. And then with that, we made trailers. We've built out a whole sort of infrastructure for teachers to be able to, create their own quest lines within sort of the world of Classcraft. Mm-hmm. So we're showing the trailer at the booth. We created some AR posters that go along with that.
Yeah,
so,
talk about that. This is the thing, guys.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out a way to do something that was like reasonably priced, but that would also kind of live on beyond ISTE. And so the idea is that there's a poster, and you kind of complete this quiz and find out what kind of Griffin rider you are, which is the new teacher avatars that we're releasing today. And so you get a teacher avatar, and then you take up your phone and you put it up to the poster, and it animates. So the whole thing kind of comes alive, and then it puts your character in the middle of that poster as well. And so the idea was to create this experience at ISTE, but then if teachers put it up in their classroom in the fall, then students will be able to make their own character when they start the school year, and then see their character in this poster. And so it's kind of giving the students an opportunity to sort of feel like they're in the middle of a movie poster, and there's a trailer kind of coming out, and sort of building this sort of feeling for students that's really exciting and compelling at the beginning of the school year. And so so that's kind of a fun way to use sort of, paper, which is accessible to us. We can actually like make a lot, and but then sort of give it a bit of an edge and make it kind of interesting and stuff for teachers. And then there's a whole side of the admin at the booth. Maybe, Shawn, you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I was just going to talk about the AR poster in the classroom for a second.
Sure.
Yesterday I was at the Leadership Exchange, and there was a whole session on equity, and talking a lot about how media portrays, white people stereotypically and a lot. And really what we're able to do with this poster is have kids who aren't necessarily portrayed in the media be at the heart of this cinematic experience. And so there's something really validating about giving them, role models that they can move towards, but feeling that those are things that they can attain. And as they're playing Classcraft, feel empowered on that journey. So I think for us, there's all the hype, right, around like, hey, it's AR and it's stories and it's super cool and engaging. But at the same time, there's also like underlying pedagogical and ethical issues that we're addressing through this at the same time. So there's multiple layers to this, which really make it exciting for me, because like the stories we're creating and sharing for teachers are, stories about collaboration and going beyond and, exploring. So stories where youth are at the center and, striving for more and going further. So there's just like, there's in everything we do, there's always these two pieces, right? The piece where you're thinking about the experience and the engagement related to that, but then also like fundamentally, what does that do to a child and how they perceive themselves in their day in the classroom? So it's pretty exciting stuff when you start looking broadly at what the impact can be. And then to Devin's point, there's like, that's one half of the booth. On the other side, we have a whole section for explaining how Classcraft's metrics, what we're measuring around students, things like whether they're collaborating, school climate, empathy, those types of observations that are happening in the classroom, reporting to that in real time, and being able to show across a whole district how these different metrics are trending, so they can make better leadership decisions.
Super important.
And the last piece maybe just to add is that in the afternoons, we actually brought down one of our illustrators. And so we have a huge green screen.
Oh, this is awesome.
And people can come and get a photo taken on this green screen, and then we will Photoshop you into the world of Classcraft with your avatar.
What booth number are you guys again?
2030.
2030.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's one more thing. If you come do all this stuff, you can win a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
we got it. We're going to plug that in just a second. You're damn right we're going to be plugging this. Are you kidding?
There's that, and there's also there's 4 custom avatars. So the staff will actually draw teachers into the system, basically.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So talk about story mode for a minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Big thing. It's like consuming the company in terms of what your efforts.
Yes.
It's a big deal.
This has kind of been something that we've been working on for 5 years. And so what happened was at the beginning when we started Classcraft, we were creating a bunch of art and we were kind of scrappy and we needed to make things happen. And so we didn't really have time to go too into it. But we did take a couple weeks and just kind of anchored what it was we were doing.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, we're clearly a company whose values are rooted in collaboration. What is happening for a student during those years is a lot about discovery, right? Like you get to stay up later, you get to sleep over at someone's house, maybe you like make out with someone at some point, right? So like there's a lot of like new things that are happening. And so we really try to create sort of just at least a framework for the world. So there's always kind of been like a healer island, a mage island, and the warrior island. Mm-hmm. And so we sort of built cultures around that. And none of that was actually expressed through the system. It was just in the art. Like there was these elements were kind of woven into each other.
Yes.
And so we've just been kind of releasing things and not really giving them any context. And so what this is actually revealing all that kind of stuff, right? And so we built a sort of a Wikipedia for the world. And so now we're starting to like explain what the different places are and who the characters are. And then the story itself is really set up to be kind of like a TV show. So how it works is that this Back to School is going to be season 1 of story mode.
Nice.
And then every month there's a new set of quests that get released. So there's like 3, I think, a month. And it's going to take students through kind of a journey of that first initial world that we're kind of building. And then the idea is that at the end of season 1, we're going to open up the world a little bit more and kind of keep exploring.
Continue.
Yeah, exactly, right? So start revealing kind of what's possible. And I think that we're really excited about it because fantasy has the ability to let you live something vicariously through some characters. So you're learning, right, about the emotional experience of someone without actually going through it yourself. And so for us, it's really important that these stories are really contemporary, that they deal with some of the ambiguity that technology brings, that like, some of the conflicts between people can bring, and then ultimately, helps them navigate the landscape of what that means for them as people, so that maybe when they encounter that in their own life later on in life, they're going to be able to have some kind of, parallel or at least exposure to some of these, trickier situations. Or there's a lot of things coming, like bioethics are like a thing, AI is a thing. Don't get me started, but like, So anyways, I don't know if you want to add to that, Shawn.
Yeah, well, I just think that like there's a real opportunity with the story wiki to have kids like start writing their own stories too, right?
Yes.
Because like the whole idea is let's give them this like dungeon master guidebook of like what is this world, and then like when you see that happening in World of Warcraft or in Dungeons and Dragons, like all these universes, there's fan fiction. And so we're really hoping that like teachers use this, but also kids get really excited and just start writing their own stories, and teachers 100%. Can leverage that for ELA, right? And so there's like the idea of like, hey, you're in this story, but you're also a creator, you're part of the journey, and you can be creating your own stories.
Amazing. So booth 2030 is where the AR experience is, and all of this awesome stuff. You can get a handle on it. Also, we've got to plug this, that if you want to enter in the draw for the Nintendo Switch, that's great. But if you want a second entry to get a Nintendo Switch, all you got to do is at the bottom, type OnEducation at the bottom, and you'll get a second chance to win a Switch. I want to win a Switch. I'm going to go rig it or something. I don't know.
We're giving 4 away, so if you don't get on the first try, you can try again.
4 That's Nintendo Switches, friends.
Love it.
So be sure to head down to their booth, learn about all of this stuff. You guys are redoing it. Like, the game is awesome.
Yeah.
It's changing the way school is done. And that's why we love you guys so much.
We're very excited about that.
And you're right. You're speaking our love language. It's absolutely fantastic. So thanks, guys, for joining us. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to OnEducation. My name is Mike Washburn. My co-host is Glen Irvin. Want to get in touch with us? Check out our website at oneducationpodcast.com. You can tweet us at OnEducationPod. Glen is at Irv Spanish on Twitter. I can be found on Twitter at Mr. Washburn. You can find us on Facebook by visiting facebook.com/OnEducationPod. We're also on Instagram at OnEducationPod. If you're enjoying the show and think others would too, we'd be thrilled if you shared it with them. Please leave us a rating or review in Apple Podcasts or on the Google Play Store. When you leave a rating, it gives our rankings a boost. This helps others discover the show. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, Classcraft, for supporting us. Check out classcraft.com/OnEducation to learn more about them. Thanks as always for listening. Stay awesome. See you soon.